Gotta catch 'em all, Pokemon fans. Welcome to another PlaySkape Games video. And today we are very excited. Japan has just revealed, it's a Pokemon website in Japan, have just revealed the V starter deck Pokemon. There's going to be 9 brand new V cards, V Pokemon released in Japan on July the 10th. Big shout out to the lovely people at Guardian. Link in the description to check out their website, check out the article. You can read a bit more about the decks and the release, but highly recommend you check them out. So what the V starter decks are effectively are 9 little baby theme decks that cost 500 yen each, which is very cheap, which is only about like £4 to £5 each. So you get a 60 card deck in Japan in these decks. And I think alongside these new V Pokemon, there will also be a bunch of new cards coming in the decks. We don't know for certain just yet, but some of these cards might also be put into our September mini set, the 3.5 Sun and Moon set, the one that like comes alongside similar release dates to Hidden Fates and Shining Legends, that kind of mini set. So they could come in that, but we know for certain that we're going to be getting the Galarian Slowbro and the Mew in Darkness Ablaze in August. So that's something to be excited about. So yeah, released on July the 10th. 9 different designs, one of each of the main types that are being used currently. So unfortunately no Dragon or Fairy for those that love Dragon or Fairy. And yes, you can see there, massive Wailord, lots of smaller Pokemon. And when you purchase one of the theme decks, we haven't really exactly confirmed how they're going to be given away, but there's an exclusive Eevee promo also for purchasing the theme decks in Japan, in stores, I believe, and I believe you might also get in Pokemon centers potentially, or in stores. I'm not sure, one of the two. You're going to get an exclusive Eevee coin and a double-sided playmat. It's probably a cloth one if they're giving it away. Cloth on a paper one if they're giving it away, but still very exciting. Yes, highly recommend if you know any friends in Japan, ask them to pick some of these decks up for you, potentially get them off eBay maybe if you can. And we're going to rank them in order from what I feel to be like the strongest cards through to the like the weakest cards through to the strongest cards, but they all have potential in their own way. There's some really nice cards in here, and of course this Eevee is absolutely beautiful. So Eevee V here. Collect, draw 3 cards, nice little option in the pinch. Brave Buddies does 160 in total if you've used the support this card, this support card this turn. Unfortunately, this is very underwhelming. I think the Eevee and the Pikachu are just designed to be more collectible, more sort of an introductory option for children as opposed to being like competitively viable. We do have the new white colorless energy, the new one from Infinity Zone that gives you 20 damage to your colourless Pokemon. So you can do 108. You can do 180, which is not bad if you're doing like a welder plus an attach for the turn. But it's a bit slow. But the artwork's absolutely beautiful. The Pikachu and the Mew, I'm definitely going to get PSA graded. Try and get a couple of these because Eevee's like Eevee, Pikachu, Mew. They're always super popular, and we have no idea in English released where we're going to get the Eevee or the Pikachu released. Maybe in our September mini set. But I'm definitely going to pick up a couple of these and get them graded. Absolutely beautiful. Pikachu V, this actually, I thought this was going to be quite bad, but then someone told me about the potential of this in expanded. So I love Pikachu, don't get me wrong, this card is beautiful, I'm going to add this to my collection, but you're doing, ignore the first attack, you're doing 30 damage for each of your bench Pokemon. So I think it's going to translate to Circle Circuit in English because it's been very similar to like the Raichus we've had before. So you're only going to do 150, which isn't great, especially considering we're going to be losing Electro Powers, but in expanded, with Skyfield, potentially you can be doing 240 for a full bench and you can still play Electro Powers and stuff. So I'm definitely going to try Pikachu V in expanded, potentially even expanded Tuesday on my Twitch stream, twitch.tv/PlaySkape Games. Link in the description if you want to watch me play PECGO. Very excited for this card in expanded. I might see playing standard, like it's not, you're doing 150 for like Tapu Koko plus an attachment, so it's not the worst thing because Boltund V needs a bunch of energies on the board for it to be attacked with, so maybe you might play one of these in electric decks. But it's a beautiful card, adding it to my collection definitely, and it's good. It potentially could be a nice expanded deck. Yes, Mew V. A lot of people were hyped when they heard that there was going to be a Mew V. They were coming up with all sorts of crazy combos like, oh, it's going to copy attacks. Oh, it's going to be like the old Mews. Well, sometimes they like to in Japan they like to print cards that are similar to old cards, and sometimes they just want to do the new thing because you end up getting the same, like, oh, they're going to print a Mew soon, it has to do the same as Mew EX or the Mew from Fate's Claw, something like the Mew from Fate's Collides. But this Mew is a bit underwhelming, unfortunately, but again, beautiful artwork, absolutely stunning. Reminds me a bit of the Pokemon Snap Mew, just like chilling out, floating around there. I think they also might theme it on the movie. I'm not sure if Mew's going to appear in the movie in August, but yeah, beautiful card. I'm definitely going to get this one graded as well. And for 2 Psychic Energy, there's 30 damage attached to each both active Pokemon. So it's a nice little option. The problem is we haven't really got any effective ways to accelerate energy once Malamar rotates, so I'm not sure how you'd get this to work in our current standard format. You could play it with Turbo Patches again. For those who don't know, Turbo Patch is flip a coin. If heads, you can attach a basic energy from your discard pile to I think one of your bench Pokemon. It might be your active, but so you can use that to power up Zacian really quickly. The Lucario V we're going to talk about later, but with Mew, unless they've got something stupid like 5, 6, 7 energies on them, you're not going to really be doing that much damage, I don't think. It's a nice little option though, and it is a free retreat, so you could just stick it in a Psychic deck just to use it as a pivot for free retreating if we ever go to a stage where we're not going to be using, because we're going to be losing the skateboards for Jirachi, so you could end up potentially using the Mew at some point. But a beautiful card. Definitely getting this one graded, but we're not going to be getting many of the others graded, just those first 3 because they're stunning. Incineroar V. So I was sitting a bit on the fence on this one. The only reason that I wasn't overly excited about this one is because Grand Flame only does 90. If it did 120, you could see it potentially be used like as a nice sort of anti-single prize deck. So you could be knocking out Baby Blounds, you could be knocking out like the new Suicune, the Hooper, the Darkness Hooper for Eternatus VMAX decks. 90 damage, unless you've got other ways, like if you're playing it alongside maybe like a Galarian Zigzagoon, I don't think 90 damage is really going to cut it. Even though you are accelerating energies, the fact that you've got to spend free energies just to accelerate energies, you might as well just be using these free energies that you're attaching to this Incineroar to power up something better. I mean, even like Heatran GX or Victini VI, I can't see like an obvious place for this Incineroar straight away. Flare Driver for 220. 220 is nice, but it's 4 energies. I feel kind of most of the time you want to just be playing Reshiram Charizard just for the extra 70 HP. It depends on the meta, actually. I mean, it's got a nice bit of damage output, but the fact it's doing 30 to itself, it also puts it in much easier range of other things knocking it out. So you can't even... I suppose you can put a Toughness Cape on this one. So Toughness Cape, new tool card from Darkness Blaze, plus 50 HP to your basic Pokemon that aren't GXs. I think also it counts out. I'm not sure if it counts out EXs, but... No, it does count. So you can play on EXs, but so you can have 270. So it only takes it down to 240. So it's still out of just out of range of Zacian being able to knock it out. But yeah, I'm not a massive fan of this Incineroar, but it depends on the meta. If there are any Pokemon like single prize Pokemon that have 90 HP, you could reliably use this Incineroar as like a one-off in some fire decks just to keep knocking out those basic Pokemon. Like, there are some basic Pokemon that attack that only have like less than 90 HP. Like Lost March didn't have many like big HP. The Poltegeist. They are out there. So it's potentially one for the future. This card. Venusaur V. I really like the artwork in this one. I used to play Celebi Venusaur tag team a lot, and there's quite some similarities between this one and the Celebi Venusaur tag team we got in Team Up. So. Grass, colourless, Pollen Bomb, 80 damage. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now Poison Sleep. This is very similar to the Grass double colourless that we got from Celebi Venusaur, which did Poison, Sleep, and Confusion, I believe. But yeah, Solar Typhoon, 220, opponent can't use that. So you have to play this alongside Rillaboom. There's no way in Standard to easily power this up outside of using Rillaboom. But then, if you're thinking you're using Rillaboom, you might as well just be using Rillaboom VMAX most of the time, because you can do a maximum of 280 damage for the same amount of energies, and it's got 330 HP. So, I mean, you could potentially see one of these going in as a one-off in the Rillaboom deck, just so you can use Pollen Bomb, maybe stall them out for a turn by putting them poison them asleep and doing 90 damage in total with the poison as well. Yeah, I can't really see this being a deck on its own, but I think it's a nice option for grass decks. Maybe as a one-off if they're running Rillaboom. Duraludon V. So at first glance, you may say, "Oh, why would you ever play this over Zacian?" Well, this doesn't. This has effectively 250 HP. You can stick metal goggles on it, and it's got 280 HP, or you can put a toughness cape on it. It's got effectively 300 HP if you're trying to one-shot it. It's really nice, and Gatling Slug. It's only doing 150 damage for the same amount of energies that you could put on a Zacian to do 230, but against single prize. You have to think about against single prize decks or stall decks, like mill decks that are trying to disrupt your energies and stuff. If you're trying to attack with Zacian, you're going to have to constantly find a way to retreat it to reset the attack, because otherwise you'd do Brave Blade for 230, and it's just stuck. You're stuck with a Zacian in the active, and it's not a good thing. Whereas now, you can just do 150 over and over and over and over again with Gatling Slug. And if they have like slightly higher HP Pokemon, off the top of my head, like the Lone Executor from Forbidden Light that's got 160 HP, or there might be some other ones like that in the future, maybe stage 2s that have more HP, but you can just attach another Metal Energy and then do 190. So I don't think you're ever going to ramp it up high enough in standard format to be able to do make the attack do more damage than Zacian. But I think if you're playing a Zacian V deck, a Turbo Zacian V deck, I would highly recommend sticking in one of these instead of the Zacian. So maybe like you play 3 of these and 1 Zacian V, or potentially like 3 Zacian, 1 of these, and 1 of the Zamazenta V. It's a very nice little card. Sorry, my voice is going. It's quite early having to do these videos. I'm definitely going to play one of these metal decks that run that Zacian decks. Galarian Slowbro V. So I would have been a lot more hyped about this if it had a retreat cost of 2. So the ability is all about the ability. If it's in the active, you can leave your opponent's Pokemon poisoned, active Pokemon poisoned. That would be great, because then you could retreat into a Toxtricity and then do the extra damage with Toxtricity's attack. Unfortunately, it's got a retreat cost of 3, so you can't put an air balloon on it. You've got no easy way in standard to retreat it other than just manually having to use Switch. There is Dark City, but then you are playing a Darkness type stadium in your Toxtricity when you'd rather have potentially something like Dust Island or the Galar Mine if you want to go down that route, or potentially even just Power Plant if you're expecting like Mewtwo's, or trying to stop like the Dene changes against electric decks or whatever. So, or even Chaotic as well. So there are so many better stadiums we'd rather be playing than Dark City. I can actually potentially see this eventually in the Eternatus VMAX deck. You could just put like the hide energy to give it a free retreat, so you're just doing extra 10 damage. The problem is if you're attaching a hide energy to this, you're not attaching to an Eternatus, so you might fall behind. I could see potentially one of these going in the Toxtricity deck. If you're playing 4 copies of Switch, you just put one of the Galarian Slowbro in the deck, and then you just you stick it out, use the ability to poison them, and then you can switch out. I'd rather still use Garbodor in a thicker line, I think, unless sort of thicker line like 2/2 Garbodor, but I think Galarian Slowbro is going to be a nice option for Toxtricity, and if we get a more reliable form of energy acceleration in the future, Stranding Shot is a really nice option. Like you use Boss's Orders to bring out a Pokemon that's got a high retreat cost, or you reset stamp them to 2, use Galarian Slowbro, stick them out Stranding Shot. They can't do anything. They're literally stuck unless they've got a way to attack with the active. So I like the potential of this card. Here is the big boy, the man himself, Wailord V. Yes, that is not a typo. He has 280 HP for a basic V Pokemon, which is absolutely insane. You put a toughness cape on it, it's got 330 HP. That seems fair and balanced. Yeah, this card is insane. It's good, but it's not brilliant. And the reason for that is 200 HP may be a lot of HP, but Eternatus VMAX can still one-shot you with a Galarian Zigzagoon. Yes, you can put your toughness cape on it, but then they can run Tool Scrapper, and they're two-shotting you very easily. Whereas here, Ocean Wave, flip 3 coins, it does 120 damage for each head. You could high roll it. This could be a very solid tier 2 meme contender deck. You flip 3 heads, you knock out the Eternatus VMAX. I could potentially see two ways you could play Wailord V. So you play it as a 1 or 2 off in Frostmoth decks as a nice attacker. You're going to average at least 120 most times, so you should be able to 2-shot. I'm not sure how the averages are going to work exactly, but if you're flipping 6 coins over 2 turns, you should average 3 heads, which would be 360 damage, which would knock out the VMAX Pokemon. Yeah, but I think another way you could play it is in its own deck. You use Pump. You try and get a bunch of energy in the discard early. Maybe use the Shuckle from I believe it's Unbroken Bonds. You just discard 3 energies from your deck. You just and then use Pump Up. If you just choose to go second, Pump Up, put the energies in the deck with Shuckle, in the discard with Shuckle, and then use Ocean Wave the following turn. You could play a couple of copies of Will. Will, unfortunately, only allows you to reflip the coins. So if you flip 0 coins, you use Will. You could still and you could still reflip the coins and then still end up with 3 tails and do no damage. So. It's very much a janky kind of meme deck, like in terms of that thing, but it's actually potentially a good meme deck. So I'm definitely going to try this in Meme Monday on my Twitch channel when it gets released. Unfortunately, this isn't coming in Darkness Ablaze, the August set. At least we don't think it is. It should, but it might be in the September mini set. But I'm very excited to try this. In Expanded, you can potentially do all sorts of crazy combos. You can use Super Scoop Up. We unfortunately lose Super Scoop Up, but I can imagine like in Expanded with Toughness Cape, you could just like make some kind of crazy, because Wailord EX was a strong deck. In Expanded, you try anything trying to do 330 outside of electric decks is going to have a real problem dealing with this, I think. And you can also use Flip Teeny to reflip the coins as well, the Guardian's Rising ones. So definitely a fun deck for Standard, potentially a strong deck in Expanded. Last but not least, Lucario V. So this was the very, very first of the V starter deck cards announced, and it's just solid. It's not like overwhelmingly brilliant, but it's just all around solid. So unfortunately, we lose the Anti-Prism, so you're not going to be doing like I don't think you're going to be donking much turn 1 with Aura Sphere, but it's really nice to set up numbers on bench Pokemon. You know, set up something else potentially for a 2-shot with like other V Pokemon, potentially a 2-shot with Beat Smash if you are using Martial Arts Dojo to increase the damage. Aura Sphere is not as good as Jet Punch, unfortunately, because I'd much rather have 30-30 for like Stage 2 decks that run 60 HP Pokemon, or yeah, I think 30-30 is stronger than 40-20, but like on Buzzwole, but Beat Smash is really good. So unfortunately, we don't have any super reliable ways in Standard to accelerate energy. We do have Sandaconda, but then you have we do have Colossal, which goes in the Sandaconda decks. That's you can do accelerate energy with. The problem is with Colossal, it's a stage 2, so you have to play rare candies. You have to probably play Jirachis to get your rare candies, or maybe like lots of copies of Rosa, but then you could be clunking your deck out with stage 2s. I can see this definitely working potentially in a Turbo Patch deck. So you run 4 copies of the Baby Zygarde from, I think it's Unified Minds. It's got Boost Fang. It does 30 damage, I think 20-30 damage, and then you can attach a Fighting Energy, I believe, from it's either from your hand or discards to one of your bench Pokemon. So they knock out the Zygarde, you then bring the Lucario out, attach another energy, and then use a Karate Belt, and then you've got your 180 straight off the hit. So that one shot's a Eternatus VMAX. Or you could just end up putting 2 Zygardes out and just using those to 2-shot and stuff. So I'm quite excited for Lucario. I think I'm not sure whether it's going to be better than Sandaconda. It all because Sandaconda obviously does 220, so it's better against other VMAXs. But Sandaconda relies a lot more on Colossal. I think this one can work a lot better on its own. Sandaconda also accelerates energy to itself with its first attack, whereas this only just does a light little poke with the Aura Sphere. So I'm not sure, but I think Lucario V potentially could be quite a strong little counter deck to Eternatus VMAX and any more electric decks that are weak to fighting. I think 210 HP is nice as well. It's a lot better than like 190, 200 sometimes. So yeah, looking forward to trying out Lucario. I'm going to try and make a nice counter deck to Eternatus. Make sure you check out the link. Check out my channel. There's a link to my Eternatus VMAX deck, and you can see kind of like what I'm going for at the moment. But yeah, those are the 9 V starter deck cards. So as I said earlier, we only know for certain that we're going to get the Galarian Slowbro and the Mew V in our August set in Darkness Ablaze. We don't know yet when the other cards are going to be released in English. We're expecting them to be in the mini set, the September mini set, but we have no idea. So yes, if you've got any friends in Japan, like 500 yen is only about £4 or £5 each. So ask them to pick up some decks. These decks, if you want to like collect any of the Pokemon, you're fans of any of the Pokemon, you might be able to purchase them off eBay as well. Who knows? But I'm very, very excited to get my hands on these. I'm hopefully gonna do a video opening of the Mew, Pikachu, and Eevee at the very least. I'm gonna try and get some of those cards graded. So very much excited for that. So thank you very much for watching this PlaySkape Games video. Leave a note in the comments below. What did you think of the starter deck cards? Do you agree with the order? Do you think I should have put some of the other cards up higher? Maybe like Incineroar, Duraludon, Venusaur? Love to know your thoughts. Please make sure you also ding that bell, subscribe to the channel, support us. And yes, you'll make us very happy. And we're going to be giving away an awesome PSA card when we get to 1,000 subscribers. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon, Pokemon fans. Gotta catch them all. Thank you for watching this PlaySkape Games video. Remember, once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we'll be giving away this beautiful Blastoise and Piplup GX Rainbow Rare card from Cosmic Eclipse. So, PSA 9 graded, very hard to find. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, support the channel, and one of you can be winning this card. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon, Pokemon fans. Gotta catch them all.